Welcome to another episode with the Mono Mentality Podcast Show. I'm your host, Monty K. I'm here with a special guest, the one and only Cory Murphy in the house.
Go.
Just touched down in the good old Tri-Cities. Couple things about Cory for you guys to get to know my boy, D1 quarterback. Got his bachelor's in kinesiology from Delaware State. Played in the Pro Arena Football League for the Bay Area Panthers for quite a time. We'll talk about that. Just closed on a 72-unit apartment complex that was worth $8.4 million.
Yee.
And then last but not least, part of the PAC community where athletes, pro athletes, network with athletes to transition to business. So with that said, welcome to the show. Cory, how you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. Yeah, grateful to be here. Appreciate
It's
it.
good to have you, man.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be in the good old Tri-Cities?
Man, actually, this is like coming home to me. I spent 3 years in Yakima, and so I was in between arena football teams, and I made a stop here, and so it's nice to be back. It's nice to be back.
What were you doing in Yakima?
Man, and it was a good pit stop. I played in Billings, and instead of coming all the way home, I knew I was going to go to another team. I was like, I can kick it 6 months here, and it was kind of like my spot in between teams. I'd come back to Yakima, and so it was fun, man.
And you was out here just training, huh? Getting ready for
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
ready for the next opportunity, as they say, huh?
Yep. Preparing, and during the off season, that's what it was about. And so I was over there training working out and being a personal trainer. And so yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. You originally from Santa Clara, and you went to Wilcox?
Yeah, Wilcox High School.
Wilcox High.
Yeah.
Were you a starter?
Oh yeah, actually.
So you were the man of the town.
Man, hey, I was. The funny thing, Wilcox, my brother and sister went there, right? And I had some big shoes to fill. I'd always been, in a sports family. My brother went D1 football. My sister played softball in college, and so I was the youngest. By the time I came in there, I was the teachers would miscall my name as my sisters or my brothers. And when I left, though, it was my goal to break my brother's football records. And so when I left, it was me. I broke them, and he was right under there. So it was 1-2. So
You're
Wilcox.
quarterback. Was your brother quarterback?
Oh yeah. That's probably where I
so that
had the ambition
competitiveness,
to.
huh?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so you're like the light-skinned Tom Brady.
I tried my best.
Come on. So you go from Santa Clara,
Yeah.
and you had any offers coming out of high school?
So no, man, it was tough, but I had an opportunity. And all you need is an opportunity sometimes. And an opportunity to walk on to San Jose State. And that was my first taste of, D1 football and getting my foot in the door with that. So, yeah.
Talk to us about that because, most that people don't understand the high school game to the transition to college game. It's a little bit more of a marketing, right? And if you don't have a marketing or a brand to like really put yourself out there for exposure, a lot of these schools don't really know about you. I'm assuming at that time you didn't really have like social media to like promote you, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get connected with San Jose State? You just showed up?
Yeah, so I used to go to combines. I have constantly invested in myself to improve. And so I would go to these workouts, these combines, and I believe it was Brent Brennan who saw me at one of my workouts, and he gave me an opportunity to walk on. And so that was a good experience there too.
And then you were there at San Jose State for, you just said a
Just for a short stint, man. And this is a good lesson, right? A lot of guys now, NIL, the college is completely different. You hop in the portal expecting to get something better. Grass is always greener on the other side. But I was hoping I could, improve my position as far as being able to start on the field. So I went JC. All right. And that was a tough experience. I had shoulder surgery my freshman year, and I broke my hand my sophomore year. And I was hard-headed enough to come back 28 days later from a broken hand onto my throwing hand. I taped a knee pad to it and just played. But I was still, I'm grateful to have an opportunity to go D1 after, and I went to Delaware State.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, if you hop in that portal or if you just, jump to try and change teams, sometimes it doesn't pan out as well. And so, yeah, that's a lesson right there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I think we connected on the yacht. We were in San Diego. We were chilling with Rich.
Yeah.
At his yacht mastermind workshop, which is cool. I remember bumping into you, and I was like, "This guy's kind of swole." Swole guy eating all the watermelon.
Yeah.
Right there on the yacht, and we were chopping it up. And then one of the things that we talked about was just you were an athlete, and we kind of connected up right there on the yacht. Shot the podcast with Rich. And I think we started talking a little bit about mindset, talked about the athlete community. And so going back to like your stint at San Jose State, going to Delaware State, where did that confidence come? Because when you don't have a lot of offers, I'll give you an example. I got a nephew right now. I was talking to you about this yesterday. Heavily recruited quarterback, 30 plus offers, and committed to Appalachian State. But then NIL money comes and ends up going to Oklahoma, and really didn't really get the experience that he was looking for. And then looking at that, then looking at your story, right? You don't have anything, and it's like you almost have to have this mindset to really push you to like really have this belief in yourself. What got you there coming from San Jose State to Delaware State?
Yeah, man. Having belief in yourself is like the number one thing.
Yeah.
My mom used to say, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? And so that's where that confidence and belief came from. Mom would be hyping me. She would always, speak confidence into me, speak positivity into me. To the point where sometimes you got to hear it for something else because it's like, oh, Mom, always gonna love you. But I had coaches around me, great coaches and great mentors that also helped build confidence in me. And then what also builds confidence is knowing that you've done the work. You're right. First thing you said is you're swole. You can't fake working out, man. And so I would grind before camp. Like I would come into camp prepared, right? They were like, oh, he's in shape. They never doubted if Cory was in shape. And so preparing, and I did have belief. And there's a fine line between like optimism and being delusional. Okay. And sometimes I stay right there in between it, because you got to have big goals and aspirations. And so I thought I could go and transfer and get a bigger opportunity. And I took a bet on myself. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. As I mentioned, I had a broken hand and a arm surgery. And like on a personal note, man, off the field, it was tough as well. My family, I was playing JC ball. And for you guys who don't know JC ball, it's like Last Chance U. Have you heard of Last Chance U? Yeah, it's like your last chance to go back into D1, man. And I'm in my last chance. It's sophomore year. I'm thinking I'm going to go at Christmas time because, that's when you usually transfer. And it was tough off the field. My family, we lost our apartment, and I had spent 6-8 months in hotels, family member spots, waiting for my scholarship to go to my next school. And in that moment, the thing I remember most is like, dang, I'm going to make it in 2 years.
Well, with that said, because what people got to understand when it comes to, athletes and sports, it costs money and it costs time. And when you don't have a scholarship and you don't have all the offers that are throwing money at you, who was that person in your corner, like helping you with the funds and getting you support? Because, you're what, 18, 19 at the time?
Yeah.
Who was supporting you to get you to that point?
It was Mom's for certain. Yeah, Mom's was holding it down as much as she could. She would work hard. And
What was your mom doing for work?
So everything and anything. We would even deliver magazines. I would deliver magazines with her. But she had a bad car accident when I was a little bit younger, and so she was on disability. But I would still try and help any way I could to make some funds to. So
your mom was living on a disability check, still trying to support your dreams.
Absolutely, in every way. And my brother and sister, like, it was everyone. And it's like, yeah, that's family. Family. I definitely have a great family system with them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things people don't understand is that journey. That journey to get to. Just a D1 is an accomplishment. Did your family come from like D1 athletes, or were you the first one?
My brother, he cracked into it first,
okay.
And he got an offer at Northridge, and at the time, like they were D1, and then they folded. But he had his own journey. He had to come back in JC and try and go again. And my sister, she had jumped around a little bit, but we had always played sports, man, and that's why and we said this yesterday, man. Sports is a connector. Sports is the number one connector for me, right? And so if it was basketball, baseball, volleyball, softball, my evenings were at my brother's sister's practices, or my weekends we were at the games. And so, yeah, absolutely, sports, I looked at it as my way to change my family's life, and I was bringing that energy to my workouts and everything.
You said something about preparation, right? You talked about when you get nervous, the best way to do is over-prepare. Right, and I think a lot of athletes now, especially the younger athletes now, they're too focused. And this is my opinion. They're too focused on the clout and about, having the nice things, the nice cleats, and the nice visors, the towels, and things like that. But none of that matters unless you have like the proper mental preparation. What are some things? Walk us through kind of that prep state that you would do as a quarterback. Because quarterback, the team depends on you, right? If you don't come through, you guys lose. So what did you do to mentally prepare yourself to get ready for game days as a quarterback?
I have different rituals at different times, but it was always I'd have to the day after the game I got to break up the soreness, so I get a good workout. It's sometimes after the game, in the evening time after I got some water and stuff, but for sure by Sunday or the next day, like you got to go in there and break it up. I had one coach at Delaware. He said, "Today you got to get some butter from the duck." I still don't know what the heck that means. I think it just meant you got to sweat today, right? And so I got to sweat that first day after, and then that's where it starts. I review that film from the very first day, and then I move on. We have our meetings, but I start preparing for the next week as far as reviewing the other team's film.
How many hours are you guys reviewing film?
Me, I would review it with them and then by myself. Like I remember just keeping it up on YouTube, like other teams' games and like watching it constantly. I mean, even if you hop on the sticks, that was supposed to be your moment away from football, but you're playing Madden, And so, yeah, fully in it. And then like massages, rolling out, stretches. The day, I wouldn't touch my body like as far as stretching, like day of too intense or the day before.
What were you doing mentally though?
Mentally, yeah, and
That's
so
the
that's
part I wanna
over
talk about.
preparing.
Yeah,
That's
because-
over preparing. That's the film
So
study.
is it more of connecting the mind with the body?
Yeah, and so mind with the body, absolutely. I would feel confidence when I was mentally prepared, knowing all the looks that I would see, and then when my body felt fresh. When my body felt fresh, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go and pitch a good game or throw good today.
So what's your advice to a lot of these young athletes that are in that nervous state when they're about to go perform? What do you
Yeah.
advise them to do?
I always would examine what would make me nervous, right? And I was just like, I don't like it. I would get it down to certain plays. I don't like this play in this scenario, right? And so back to preparing your body and your mental, being, in tune with the way you feel, knowing that you've already put all the work in that you can. Here's the thing. When I know I put all the work in, I felt fine with any result. Because it's just like, hey, I left no stone unturned. The hay is in the barn. By game day is what they used to say, by game day, you've done the work. Now it's time to go have fun. And so I felt so confident in my preparation that game day was like, all right, it's time.
And I think one of the things with quarterback, and I never been a quarterback, but I used to think I was a quarterback, playing.
Tall enough for it.
Yeah, I thought I had an arm until like I saw like some real. I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit different. But I think as a quarterback, you're really having to sit back and operate, and you're really dealing with their different personnel, right? You're dealing with, you got a line, you got your receivers, you got a running back, and so really you're just controlling you're facilitating the whole process. Talk to us about. I want to get a little bit deeper into like the sports side, because there's a lot of similarities on what translates to business, which we'll talk about in this episode. But what was that camaraderie or that cohesiveness that you would implement to get the guys all on one page?
Yeah,
that's in my opinion, that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah, and actually, yeah. So playing quarterback, we touched a little bit on it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of quarterbacks can make the same throws, but it's how are you going to lead your team and what decisions are you going to make? And so to get my team in it, it's about knowing your team. I knew, okay, this wide receiver, I got to get him a touch early in the game. That way he can get his juice going. In moments of like clutch, like, hey, we need to go and get this yard, I'm speaking belief into my line, like, yo, I need you guys this moment, this play, just 2 yards, and we push a little bit harder, we go ahead and get it. And so understanding the moment you're in and understanding your team and what's necessary in that moment. Even there'd be some scenarios where it's like, hey, I know no matter what, if the play gets a little bit long, I got to duck my head and go get this yards because I know down and distance.
What I mean though is there has to be a level of trust though, right? Is that something that's built just during practice, or are you spending time outside of the locker room with these guys individually? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was the guy that would put together the group chat. And so it's like, hey, we're out here on the field at 7, and that would be to the defensive captain or my wide receivers. Okay. And that's on optional days. And so we're building that trust and camaraderie on our optional days. And and just you're kicking it from, hey, let's get a bite to eat before we go here, and now after. I always like to have some film on my practice, and it's like, okay, now let's hang out, watch a little film.
Yeah.
And so it's the entire process that you build trust through the reps and also kicking it.
Yeah, because I think leadership is time. It's really spending time with your people and knowing that they can trust you off the field because they got to trust you on the field. And so that's one of the things I really admire about quarterbacks, because in business it's the same way. You're having to quarterback a lot of things, and you're dealing with a lot of people. And you don't know how they're going to react, and you're really understanding how to communicate. I think that's the name of the game, right? It's communication, because you're probably in an arena with how many people?
There's only 8 on this one. Yeah, 8 on our field.
No, I'm talking about like in the arena.
Oh, in the arena, a few thousand. Yeah, we communicate with hand signals when it gets too loud.
Yeah, and then being able to be in that type of environment and still be able to clearly communicate what the play is and execute at that level. Were there times you ever felt nervous out there?
Oh, always. Oh, this is a funny one. So, and my mom's gonna laugh when she sees this clip. So, when I was in high school and college, Mom would always ask before games, "Are you nervous?" And I'd be like, for the longest when I was young, I'd be like, "I'm not nervous. No, I'm not nervous." I knew I was lying to myself because I was nervous. Until one day, I just said, "Yes, I'm nervous." Okay, and I just accepted the fact that that was my body telling me that something important is about to happen, and trying to harness that nervous energy and switch it into excitement and forcing me to perform. Right. And to the fact where I convinced myself that's like, and also by doing it, like, hey, I'm good in the clutch. You're good when you're nervous, man. So, don't let those nerves stop you. Just go take action.
So you're probably in a position where you guys are winning. How'd you guys do at Delaware State?
Delaware State, yeah, we did good for our conference. It was a winning season, first winning season in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like when the team wasn't winning?
Oh, good grief. Actually, I was fortunate enough that we won relatively good my 2 years at Delaware.
Yeah.
But I've been on a team that did not win a lot. I was a part of a 1-15 team, And so
what I want to talk about is like the culture, because it feels like everybody's your boy, right? When things are going well. But where you really test character between your teammates is when shit's hitting the fan, right? When things are not going your way. Negativity is like spreads like wildfire, especially in the locker room. How did you deal with that? And were you part of that, or were you that guy that was trying to facilitate like positivity and momentum?
Yeah, I show up the same way. Regardless of the record, I'm going to show up the same way.
Okay.
A thing I always said, whatever team I was, it's a great day to be a Panther, or it's a great day to be a Hornet, whatever day it was. And I would do those on days that it was cold.
Okay.
Because it's just like, hey, be grateful for where you're at. Like any of you guys, even if we're losing, if I can find, like, there's 1,000 other people that would love your opportunity right now. So staying grateful in my opportunity was big. And also knowing that you can only control what you can control. And so trying to, get things down into one area and only focus on what you can control was the way I would handle tough adversity. But I have a scenario where I think adversity like definitely pulls you down. I'll give you an example. We had my best comeback ever with the Tucson Sugar Skulls. We were down like 17 in the fourth, and this is arena football, so things can happen quick. If I was on a team where we were MFing each other down 17, like tearing each other down 17, I don't think we would have came back. But everyone in that moment was like, hey, just one play at a time. One play at a time. Let's just go right here on this drive. Focus on this drive. And we stayed in the moment, and we came back in that. And I think that was a perfect example of a team just rallying around each other and making positive happen.
So it's really just speaking belief and speaking courage into your people. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So Delaware State goes to get to the NFL.
This is real quick. It was a workout, a nice little workout with them. Yeah.
What was it like? What was your goal? Your goal was to get to the league.
Yeah.
And you had the short stint. How short was that stint with the 49ers?
Yeah, so I had a chance to get a workout there with the 49ers. But you said something earlier.
Bang Niner game, by the way.
Yeah, Bang Niner game from the Bay. Love it. Santa Clara. They put that stadium right down the street from where I live. And so, yeah, I can see it. It's nice. But you said something earlier that was like, hey, these athletes now, they think about, the flash or what they're buying instead of what performance on the field, like winning, And for me, it wasn't just a workout or trying to get into the NFL. I was like dead set on trying to, play the game at the highest level. You referenced Tom Brady. If anyone's there and they don't want 6 or 7 Super Bowls or aiming for that, you should, what are we aiming for? Yeah, what are we aiming for?
Are you here?
Exactly. And so that was my goal. And that's why I'm like, a workout with Niners was as high as it got. But I'm still grateful for my time in the Arena League.
Was it a bit of pressure? Because what I want to talk about is the mental health side of it. There's quite a bit of pressure going from Delaware State. Now you're to the big leagues. You got a lot of pressure on your shoulders. Either and I didn't know how the NFL works, but one of my best friends, shout out John Yeshua, got drafted to the Seahawks. Backup for Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and those guys. But he mentioned like just going through mini camps to, is it OS?
Oh, the actual you talking about preseason?
Yeah. There's
OTAs and stuff.
OTAs,
yeah.
there it is. And there's like transitions and you get cut pretty fast. So like even though you may get drafted to a team or whatever it is, you still may not make that 53-man roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like for you being able to at least participate in that, what was the environment like being around, the coaching staff and around the athletes?
It was like a dream come true. I remember as soon as I walk in, I'm like taking photos. I see my little name on the locker. I'm like, oh, need that shot, right? Yeah. And so it was big just being in that environment, right? Like I started playing football at 6 years old. And so
you dreamed about.
Yeah, it's like you sit there in the driveway and you're like 3, 2, 1, and you throw the pass, that whole thing. And so it was a great experience to even be there around those people for sure.
Who was playing at that time with the 49ers?
Cap was the starter and John Harbaugh was the coach.
This is Cap's time.
Yeah, you're like, you're aging me here. But yeah, man. Okay. This was 2013 when I came out of Delaware State.
And so did you get to meet some, Cap and those guys?
Oh, no, this one was just for the new incoming players. A couple of them I saw were like working out, but I didn't fan out on them too much.
What did the workout look like in the NFL?
Oh, man, like I said, it was quick, but I didn't get a chance to really train with them. It was like a workout. They expect you to be prepared for your moment. You know what I mean? And so all my workouts were done before. I didn't really have a chance to get too far into the workout program.
So you get there and then
gone. Yeah.
Mentally, where are you at?
Sheesh, man. I'm thinking they're tripping. At that point, I'm still thinking I'm like, man, they can't be right on this one. Like, I need to just go and fix a couple things. I need to go and maybe put on some more weight, focus on and go and have a good season here and come back. I was still very much in that mode. Now these guys, the minor league football system is a lot more structured. You got the XFL, the UFL, and I love that these guys have an opportunity to still go play and earn some money because they've been training for it for a long time. But for me, it was like, what's next? And there was Arena and CFL. And so I started hitting CFL tryout circuits, which are paid workouts, and you got to fly in. I'm investing in myself again, and so I'm flying around the country doing these CFL workouts in hopes of, 1 or 2 years in the CFL, and then I'll be back for you guys, Niners.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but you got to keep preparing.
Yeah.
Are you going to give up right now, or are you going to keep preparing and keep shooting your shot? And so I was hard-headed enough to do that till like 31.
So then what got you into the Arena side?
It's like a natural progression. It's like minor, you got your 1A, AA, AAA, and so you got your CFL. Now it's XFL, UFL, CFL, arenas. And so I shot my shot NFL, CFL at the time. I'm like, okay, well, I got to go Arena. Kurt Warner is one of the, quarterbacks who went through the Arena and actually was able to go into the NFL. And I was like, yeah.
You're right. He did go. Right?
Yeah, and he went at 30. And so,
okay. So there could be an opportunity there.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Right?
That's all you need.
That's all I needed. And I was like, okay, if Kurt did it, let me see if I can go ahead and do it. And so I tried to not put the pressure of going up. I did my first 2 years of Arena. I'm like, I got to throw this many touchdowns so I can have these stats so I can go up. And then later, after a couple of years, I was like, well, let me just enjoy that this is professional football. I got fans here. Let me go ahead and, play catch with some of the kids. And so I shifted that mindset into just enjoying Arena in that moment.
You go to Arena football. What's the pay like?
Hey.
But you got to talk about that.
I know, right? Okay. You're there for the love of the game. I like to say you're getting pizza in a dream a lot. And so the minimum is like $250 a week. But they
$250
dollars
to be in the Arena Football League.
That was the minimum when I started, $250 a week. Now some players get, a little love
Reggie
underneath the
Bush
table,
on the
little
side.
Reggie, say a little Reggie Bush. They get a little love underneath the table sometimes, and or they'll give you a job opportunity in the area, if they can, like a personal training opportunity.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have another.
How long's the season? So you're making $250 a week, which is, I'm no, that's like $1,000 a month.
Yeah, they house
You're
you and feed you though.
you're barely, but you're
Yeah.
barely surviving. This is what, 2015.
Yeah, it says 2015 when I started, and
So did you have other jobs on top of what you were doing?
yeah, personal training. And so that's a good point, man. So leveraging your spot. So I'm like, hey, I'm the ex Billings, Montana Wolf quarterback. If you want to train quarterback training, like, so trying to leverage that professional brand and make some money off the field. Which is a lot of things a lot of athletes should be doing, is looking at, well, hey, how am I going to prepare off the field? You talked about, guys getting cut early. Okay, if they can leverage their connections into bigger opportunities and network into bigger opportunities, then that's what they need to be focused on as well. Like, I get it, you got to be locked in to your football and craft, but you got to start thinking of things outside as well. And yeah, I was forced to, because of that paycheck, and then I'm trying to stay in shape at the same time, and so yeah, man, it was a grind.
Yeah, because that's one of the things. I think for me, I even went through it after my college career. Of I had dreams as a kid to go play for the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Kobe Bryant. That didn't happen, but there's this sense of like identity crisis I'm trying to figure out, because your whole life, you said 6 years old, you play football, and your whole dream is to go get it to the NFL, and you don't get there. That's like a heavy toll on the mental side, because you're trying to figure out, number one, are you good enough? Are you enough? And then more importantly, you're like, am I letting people down that believed in me, right? Your mom sacrificing, things like that. So for you, mental health, right? How important was that for you, going through that time of having to balance out that journey of like, okay, Arena Football League, I'm making $250 a week now. I got to make it work. And then in a sense, you kind of have to keep mentally sane, right, throughout the process. What was going through your mind?
Oh, I always told myself, like, hey, you're right there, keep going. You're right there, keep going. But it was taxing. I can't lie to you, man. It was taxing. The belief part of it, it's like you had prepared to be like a doctor or a professional your entire life, and then you hit a spot where even if you go pro, like there'll come a time where you can no longer do this, and you've dumped everything into it. And for me, I was like, okay, well, I gotta take this knowledge and now coach, right? Which I still want to pick up my whistle at some point. But I was like dead set on staying in the football area. And I know a lot of guys, still do great outside of playing, in whether it be coaching or training athletes. But I was like, okay, I know I can learn something else. I was trying my best to learn something else and have belief that I can learn something else. But it was tough, and I just knew I had to keep preparing, man. Keep preparing. Like, if I don't feel adequate enough, how am I going to study was normally it, or invest in this or that. And so,
Did you ever feel like quitting?
oh yeah. Oh, I did for 1 year. 1 year is all it was. But Arena, I quit for 1 year, and it was because I was like, man, I'm not making no money. I'm not going up. I ain't getting called up. No one else in the league even got called up this year. And then my physical wasn't as where I wanted to be. And so I quit for 1 year, and then I came back, was just like, I'm just going to enjoy playing this time and know that I'm not going to get rich from this. I'm going to have to do something off the field. It was I kind of shifted that mindset.
Did you feel a bit of depression during that time, that year?
Yeah. That was as big as I got too.
What did the depression look like for you?
I didn't go to the gym very much at all, and I did get up to as puffy as I ever gotten weight wise.
That was like what?
It was like 240.
Okay.
I told you it was like 240. Right now I'm at like 210.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dang, and then it was identity. It was like, okay, so what are you gonna do, for your life? And looking at different stuff, being confused, not really feeling passionate about anything, not staying in it long enough to get momentum.
Because I think there's, when you're going through a lot of hard times in life, I talked to you about this yesterday. We were driving down Walla Walla, 45-minute drive. I wasn't driving. Cybertruck was doing that. But, that quote, life responds to effort. In life, sometimes we we don't know what life's going to throw at us at times, but what we can control is how we respond to it. And it's about what are we going to do about it. What was your why during that time?
My why was always been my family. My why has always been my family. My mom, changing her. That was before I had my daughter. Now it's my daughter, But my mom, of course, always. But my why at that time was my family. I wanted to change their spot. I've seen money like cause stress in my family's life a lot of different ways, and so I want to be able to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my why, because when I got into the game of sales, right, in the game of solar, I told you, $32 in my name, had to go figure it out. I had a little one to go provide for, got to go get diapers, and so I feel like there's this transition or crossroad you kind of face as men, where you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, ain't no one gonna come save you, man. You gotta go do this yourself, and you gotta go figure it out. And so you eventually got out of the Arena Football League. And I heard you was low-key kind of nice at the solar sales, right? So you had a short stint there.
Yeah, I did.
And then what transitioned after the game of football to you?
I was just like, I stay super laser focused. Okay. And so it was like, okay, football's done. It was no longer even a thought of going to do that. And I started going all in on solar sales and learning the processes and talking to people and trying to take that football mentality into business world. And when I say football mentality, I spoke of all the different things I was doing to get better just for 3 hours on a Saturday, right? What are all the things you can do to get better to help your business or your health? I call them my illy gangs. Like every single day, I'm trying to get an illy gang. I'm trying to get better physically, mentally, spiritually, and my favorite illy, financially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All the illies. I'm trying to get my illy gangs. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going for $250 a week, and now you're like, okay, I got to make some money. I got to make some bread right now.
Yeah.
And so, what got you into the real estate game?
Yeah, so I was at a spot where it was towards the end of my arena football career.
By the way, congrats on the close on that 8.4 milli complex. That's dope.
Yeah, man. It was awesome experience being able to close on that 72 unit last year in El Paso, Texas. It was a stepping stone for me because it created more belief that, hey, you can go and do this, you can transfer. And solar was a stepping stone too, because I did pretty good in my year and a half I was doing it, and I was like, okay, you can do this outside of football as well. And then crank up on your belief. Like, I try to keep promises to myself because that's where your belief starts, right? And so I was into my arena football career, and I was like, what's next? And real estate, I know, creates passive income at some point. And so I was like, I want to find a way. I want to put time into building my portfolio. And I invested in a mentor and started learning how to buy apartments with multifamily syndication.
What caught your eye? What getting into multifamily home? What's the difference between that and just maybe single family households?
Yeah. Bigger is better. And so that's the first one. More customers, more tenants, more doors. And so the same way I was like, hey, how do I be the Tom Brady of football? I was like, how do I be the, top, BlackRock or something of that nature, and it's like, okay, apartments, and so, that's where I started thinking, think big.
Okay. So think big, but do you need money right now to like a lot of people, when they think about real estate, they're like, oh, I got to go break the bank and go make X amount of money to go leverage it to go get real estate. And nowadays, do you even need money to go get that type of
No.
estate? Give us some game on that.
Yeah, so there is a lot of different ways you can buy real estate without your money. For me, in multifamily syndication or buying apartments, you could put sweat equity into a deal. You could raise capital on a deal, maybe be an asset manager on a deal. You do not have to put your own money into these deals to be able to get ownership in them.
Because doesn't it feel like you're gambling with people's money? But how are you able to control it? Because it almost sounds like a risk, right? To go gambling with a bunch of partners. But give us the breakdown on how that would work into a deal.
Yeah. So you're 100% right. It is gambling with other people's money. But I look at their money as like my mother's retirement. And so in some situations it actually is, And so there's several ways we underwrite the deal super conservatively. That way we feel more belief in our projections. But real estate is a risk. You can't, you can't say it's not. So is the stock market. You have no control. You have more control when it's an actual hard asset, and like a business model evaluated by the income of that property. And so we underwrite the numbers super conservatively. I say under promise, over deliver. If I say 16 and get you 20%, you know, you look good. But if I say get you 20%, I get you 16, it's not as good of a look, right? And so under promise, over deliver, and conservative underwriting is how we protect.
What type of people are currently investing in these type of projects?
Yeah. So
Like, what's the strategy? What's the play when it comes to going into like multifamily homes and syndicating those things?
yeah. So a lot of the investors I deal with, they're leveraging time.
Okay.
Right, the time I put into getting the property, you know, underwriting the deal, lining up the other investors, getting the funding, maybe the property managers, fixing up the property, they're leveraging me and investing in getting their time back so they can go do what they do at a high level. And so a lot of investors I deal with, they would love the idea of investing passively while someone else handles the deal where they can sit back and get passive returns. And so these are a lot of professionals who are trying to leverage time.
And to get in those rooms, like, you have to be somewhat accredited, right?
Yeah. So
you just can't be anyone off the street. Like, you got to have some type of credibility in investing space, right, to be able to participate in these type of deals, right?
yeah, so it depends on the deal structure,
Okay.
either a 506C or a 506B.
What's that?
This is how it is a security. So it's how it's the structure of the SEC, the type of deal it is.
Okay.
And so in some scenarios you have to be accredited investors, and some you don't have to.
So talk to us. What is an accredited investor, and what's the difference?
Yeah, accredited investor is someone who makes over 250. As a couple, it's 300,000 a year, and they've invested before in a multifamily syndication.
Okay. Yeah. So in this type of game, do you think is it a get rich quick type play, or what's the long game strategy when it comes to investing into multifamily home?
Yeah. So
how long is your money tied up?
Yeah, so it depends on the deal. I've seen some holds between 3 to 5 years. I've seen some 10-year holds, but it does depend on the deal, on how long you're tying it up, and your returns. I want to say it's a get rich quick scheme. This is a safe bet and a hedge against inflation, a diversity play. You know, you can put it in different spots. But it is a 3 to 5 year hold. It's not a get quick rich scheme. It's usually returns are anywhere from 8 to 12% a year. And at the end, after we have a sell or a refinance, it usually takes those returns anywhere from 15 to 22, 25%.
So what do you say to people that like are looking to get into it? Because interest rates are pretty high right now. When's the right time to get into this type of stuff, and how do you get into it?
Yeah, so if you sit on the sideline, you know, sometimes time passes. Like they say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now, right? And so, yes, we mitigate risk heavily as far as interest rates are concerned. But I would say taking the time now is always the best time to invest.
What are you looking for? Like, as far as, like, let's say, for instance, I wanted to get into something like that. Is there a way I can leverage, I guess, money or capital to participate, or what would you need to get started?
As an investor side, the minimums are usually 50,000, and on the LP side or on the GP side, you need to. And LPs though should be vetting their operator, vetting the numbers on that, running the numbers, and really working with the operator that you trust. Okay. That's gonna be the first thing from an LP side. On a GP side, you have to be educated on it. You got to have a team around you, and you need to be underwriting numbers and getting offers sent to you and reviewing offers constantly.
Because I think that's one thing. Because at the end of the day, it's all sales. But how are you looking for a deal? Like, what's a good deal? What's a bad deal? What do you typically look for? Like, we got this $8 million one that you just did in El Paso, Texas. What are things that you're looking for on getting a good deal in the market?
We closed on that $8.4 million transaction, and it was a 72 unit. And El Paso, Texas, in underwriting in general, we like growth. Is there people actually moving into this city? Businesses, is there businesses going to this city? Jobs, projected rent growth over the few years. I mean, every single metric you can think of. Location, where is it located? What are the type of renters there? Even walking the property and seeing, hey, we're talking to, we actually flew out to El Paso not too long ago, and we're talking to tenants what are some things you guys would like to see improved around here? And really providing value to these properties. Is it a property that we can provide value to? Does it have easy fixes? Can I upgrade the countertops? Can I add, cover paid parking, Amazon lockers, valet trash? Like, can I add value to this property? Those are some things I look for.
And so when you're looking into like a property, you're because it sounds to me it's almost like you're looking for you got to be around a group of people you got to trust, right? How are you able to go distinguish on who's a good partner, who's a bad partner?
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that you got to really take into consideration, right?
Yeah, so track record is one. And I know that's hard for like in the beginning because it's like, how do I get a track record? And so that was something I dealt with where it's like, okay, I want to talk about, I've done it before, but you can't, right? And so I had partners who had done it before and had partners on that deal who had done it before. So track record, proven track record that they've done it before. Also getting to know them and their personality and their traits, I think is another way to tell who you're going to work with. But yeah, vetting the numbers and the operators, their track record is a great way. And the deal on the actual deal itself. Review the deal.
Who's some of the top guys right now in the space that got a good track record?
Yeah, so I'm gonna obviously plug my mentor who is helped me, Jake Dean and Tyler Devereaux and Eric Chatterton and DJ McCall are some people I've worked with over there at Peak Multifamily. But I'm building my nice little track record myself. But at the end of this year, I'll be in a spot where I can say, hey, I've done this few times over now.
How passive is it?
If you're a passive investor, it can be very passive, right? I can hit you up every 2 weeks, or I can hit you up every 2 months, right? You're going to get quarterly emails though on how the property's actually performing. You'll get quarterly distributions, so you can be as involved as you'd like, or not as much. I know some investors who are like, "Hey, Cory, I want to invest with you, but I want to know every single thing along the way because I want to learn as well." And so that could be a part of it as well.
So for a lot of people listening, you go buy an apartment complex, 74 units, right?
72. Yeah.
What's the strategy there on why you would want to do that?
Yeah. So
compared to, let me just go buy my first home.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference and what distinguishes the investment on like, this is probably a better return on my money on doing it this way?
Absolutely. Now, if you're actually looking for cash flow and you're going to a single family, I mean, how much are you going to cash flow?
I mean, like say for instance, I go get a house right now. Let me go rent it out. I got a buddy right now he's had a house for 2 years, and I think his mortgage is like $3,000, and he can't find someone to come rent, and now he's having to pay that mortgage. Bit of a risk, right? Because you're the landlord. Is it recession proof?
Well,
with the multifamily home?
I would say you can definitely weather the storm. You hold it, you can weather the storm, but I always under promise, over deliver, right? And it depends on how you buy it. Like a lot of people are getting in trouble as far as deals going south, or some people I should say, because of the structure they bet on in 2021 with the interest rates, right? And so you're gonna win the deal when you buy it,
So I guess let's say for instance, I want to go put some money up for one of these multifamily home investments. What can I expect on my return? Is this something that it's right away? What's the timeline? What can I expect as an investor?
Yeah, single as an investor, usually it starts cash flowing 2 months or 2 quarters after investment is when it starts cash flowing. Get the property, get it stabilized, get your operations in place. That's when distributions start to hit. But as far as cash flow in comparison to single family, like you said, man, if you spend 2 or 3 months with it not being rented, you're in the red. If the water heater goes out in the middle of the night, congratulations, you got some work to do tomorrow. You know, and how much margin is there truly on a single family, right? And so that's why, and the time it put into even get that single family and rent it out, all of that work too. You got to take that into account. And so that's why some investors are just like, hey, I'd rather passively invest, get my 20% with you on that deal.
What are some of the markets right now that are up and coming?
Yeah.
That are probably like the best spots to go invest in right now?
Yeah. So I do think
up and coming.
Yeah. I do think you can find deals in pockets, everywhere. If you have a pocket listing, that's a good deal. But I'm investing in Texas, El Paso area. I got another property that we're working on in Mill Creek, Utah. But Texas is where I've been investing. Yeah.
Texas, huh? Why Texas?
Why Texas? So there is some friendly landlord laws out there, and so our investors like to invest in there as well. and the growth that we project over the next few years. There was a lot of companies that started moving to Texas, a lot more jobs, more income. And so, yeah, we invest in some of those properties. And the La Jolla place, that 72 unit, it's actually a heavy value add play. So we're already in there renovating some of the units. And so it was a true value add play on that one.
So what are you working on right now? Now that you got that deal, what's next?
Yeah, so I'm finishing up a new development with my fund in Mill Creek, Utah, and I got some deals under contract in Texas as well. And so,
What made you guys want to go in on that investment in Mill Creek?
In Mill Creek, Utah, and so relationships are everything. There's an operator I trust in that area, and he started telling me about the market and some of the business that are going there, some of the growth in that market. And so it's a team I trust with great numbers, and so we decided to start going there.
So you're not the one doing it. You have an operator. So what does the operator do on the deal? What are they in charge of?
So co-GP is what they call it, is a co-GP. So you're both operators on it, but like, what's your role? Are you the person that's going to go and get in contract with the GC? Or are you the asset manager? You're a capital raiser? Are you, what are you the sponsor, the KP on the deal? Or are you LP? And so I'm an operator as well, but he's more in charge of, hey, we're going to start digging on this day.
So he's the one actually going out there, putting rubber to the road, getting the thing actually done.
Yeah, on that particular opportunity.
Got it. So what are you guys projecting on this?
So we're projecting between 22 to 25% returns, but you're going to get 8 to 12 on your first couple years, and then once we refinance or sell at that 3 to 5 year mark, that's when it'll take your returns up to the 20 to 25 range.
Because I don't know much about this, and that's why I'm asking these questions. But I know there's people probably listening to this. How are you able to stabilize the rent? Because most people, it almost sounds as if the landlord is just making tons of money on rent. But how do you guys charge appropriately in the marketplace?
Yes,
to make it affordable for people to actually live there, for you guys to make the returns.
Yeah, you can't go over market average rent, right? So we're never going over market average rent. I'm looking for a lot of properties that are underneath market average rent, and because
what's the average rent right now?
It depends on what market you're in.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah. So I don't have
Texas.
Texas. Okay, in El Paso, I'll give you our deal. In El Paso, it was 900. The rent was 900, and we upgraded some of the units, and now we're renting them out at 1,300. And so, but the apartment down the street, who doesn't have these upgrades, if they're making 1,200, and it's like, okay, well, I know the market can, stabilize at this rate. And so you start testing it out with like 1 or 2 people that are coming in and looking for an apartment, and then slowly start to gauge. But we always provide value first. The first thing I said was we started renovating some of the units, and those were the ones that we put back on the market as a premium unit.
So what do you say to people that are thinking about getting into this game? What's your recommendation? What's your advice on getting into the multifamily home? Because I've been actually interested. I reached out to you on the yacht. I was like, hey, I'm interested to know more.
Yeah, I would say if from an investor side, I would say definitely do it. As far as real estate, my goal is to become like an LP. They're the highest form of investor, in my opinion.
What's an LP?
The limited partner, right? The passive investor.
What does a passive investor do?
Passive investor is someone who just invests in your deal for equity, all right, for that rate of return that we talked about. And so that's the highest form of investor, in my opinion. And if you're someone who can leverage your time as far as passive investing, I would say definitely look into the numbers on the deal, look into the operator, and make sure their processes are up to date or you're getting updated throughout the entire thing. And if you have any questions, you definitely get in contact with them. You need to make sure your operator is receptive. And for me, I'm super transparent with the deal, what's going on the deal. And yeah, I would say vetting your operators.
Dope. So you're doing that, and then you're obviously rocking the go ahead and rock out the pack.
Yeah.
What's the connection there? Tell us a little bit more about the pro athlete community.
I'm a part of PAC now, Pro Athlete Community, and it is a community that helps athletes really get to their max potential off the field. And whether it be you're trying to take classes to learn a new skill or just connect your business with other business people, it's a great networking opportunity, an opportunity to learn. And also, it's like a spot to kick it. When you're done playing football, you lose the locker room. You know, in the locker room is your spot where you sit up, you chop it up. We were about to go get a pump, you know, and that's the camaraderie side of it as well. And they have that as well. And so it's your new locker room for life, is how I've been saying.
Who's some of the athletes right now that are associated with the Pack community?
So many amazing athletes. I can only, you know, the list is so long.
Who's some of the big names?
Devin McCourty and Jason McCourty are some of the founders on that one. I know Candace Parker is also on the advisory board. And so, yeah, there's a long list of amazing people in that community, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
What's your goal with the community?
Oh man, my goal is
why
always
did you
to provide.
join?
Yeah, so why did I join? Is it aligns with how I really believe. You know, like that moment of transitioning off the field to have something like Pack. If I would have had Pack in 2014, sheesh, I would have been like, okay, you're gonna be all right. You know, it would have gave me a different belief and confidence behind me. And so I became a part of it because I believe in it. It aligns with me and my life. And I know a lot of other athletes that can use it as far as a community to feel a part of. And it's been great. I lead with providing value. You're like, what are you looking for out of it? I'm trying to provide value, you know, whether it be an investing opportunity. Obviously, that is something that I'm biased about. But it could be a conversation. I've had some conversation with people in Pack teaching them about, you know, funds and multifamily investing. And if they go and do their own, then cool. I wish them the best. If they want to partner up on a deal, I'd love that too. And so, yeah, it's just going, meeting people and trying to provide value, man.
Love that. So what's the next goal for Cory Murphy? What's the goal for you?
1,000 units in the next year. Yeah, I don't even want to say 2. I want to give myself a year. And I want to build my portfolio until I'm in a spot where I can probably just pick up a whistle somewhere. And I don't know if I want to bounce around and go to a lot of big ones or if it's just in my area, Stockton, you know. But I know coaching, and you can relate a lot of life in football. And so it's not always about the X's and O's. It's about those life connections and life lessons, and I'll be teaching them at some point.
Well, Cory, that's what our show's about. Our show's about the people, the young entrepreneurs right now that are looking to go open up and go chase after their dreams. And so what do you say to people or someone on this that's listening to this episode on going for it?
I would say definitely do it. Whatever your goal is, definitely do it. But every single day, you gotta put something towards it every single day. And that was the part for me, is just staying consistent every single day. So I'd say chase your dream, go towards it, be serious about it, write down your goals, write down your action items on things that you need to do to achieve your goal, and go do one every single day. And then look back at the growth.
Just like that.
Then look back at the growth and enjoy it, because that's the work you put in, right? I actually, when I first started my mentorship, I wrote down my goal list, man. I wrote down my goal list, and I actually read my goal list aloud, selfie style. And I didn't make it through it. I started crying to myself while reading out my goal list, because that's how strong the emotion was. Like, oh, you're about to go do this. This is right when I signed up for that mentorship. And I hit a lot of those check marks on it, but I had a steps, you know, I had a clear path, you know, I had a team around me and community around me that kept me towards that path, and I just consistently do it. And here we are about 4 years later, you know, I'll be over 100 units here soon, and let's go.
Big things coming for Cory Murphy. Cory, appreciate you coming on the show today, on the episode. With that said, where can we find you? How do people get in contact with you?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. And it's Cory Murphy, or Cory_Murphy_1 on Instagram. And then my real estate page is thelegacy-investments.com. So yeah.
Cory, appreciate you coming out, man.
Appreciate it.
Excited for this one to drop.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.